Welcome, dear listener, to another quiet journey into the deep past. A time when the edges of glaciers marked the boundaries of human life and every step carried both hope and challenge. Tonight, we travel back to the final days of the last ice age, when small bands of hunter-gatherers moved through landscapes of cold wind, ancient stone, and endless sky. In this calming 2-hour journey, we will begin by exploring the daily hardships of life on the edge of a glacier, where every breath carried the chill of survival. We will then follow the path of a lone traveler, a solitary hunter-gatherer whose journey speaks to both isolation and resilience. From there, we will drift into the mysteries of lost campsites, silent places where human lives once flourished only to be claimed by time. Finally, we will step inside the shelters of small communities, the cave lords who held their people together with stories, warmth, and quiet strength. So, settle in now. Let your mind wander across icy plains and windswept ridges. Let the hush of this ancient world guide you towards sleep, where even the coldest nights hold echoes of the human heart. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of a vast, ancient glacier, a slow-moving river of ice that has carved the land for millennia, shaping valleys and scattering boulders like a giant's playthings. The sky above stretches in a pale, infinite blue, its cold light falling across a world both harsh and beautiful. The sun, low in the sky, offers only a thin warmth, a distant promise that never quite reaches your skin. You are a hunter-gatherer living at the edge of the last ice age, a time when every breath carried the chill of survival and every step was a negotiation between hope and hardship. Your clothing is a patchwork of animal hides, carefully stitched with sinew and quiet skill. Each layer holds a story, a hunt, a shared meal, the warmth of the community that made it possible. Yet even these well-worn furs cannot fully keep out the cold that seeps through every seam and settles into your bones. Your boots are rough, made from hide and grasses, wrapped around your feet in a desperate attempt to hold back the bite of the frozen earth. Each step sends a quiet shiver through your body, the chill finding every gap in your protection. Your toes ache with a dull, persistent pain, a constant reminder that in this world, comfort is always temporary, always fragile. The ground beneath your feet is uneven and unpredictable, a patchwork of frozen mud, jagged rocks, and shifting ice. Every footfall requires care, every movement deliberate, your eyes scanning the ground for hidden dangers. A single misstep, a twisted ankle, a sudden fall could mean the difference between survival and a slow, cold end. Around you, the wind never truly stops. It sighs across the open plains, a restless spirit that carries the sense of ice and earth, of distant fires and the faint tang of smoke. It whispers through low grasses, rattling dry seed heads that cling stubbornly to the frozen ground. It tugs at your furs, finds the smallest cracks in your clothing, and weaves its cold fingers across your skin. Each gust feels like a test, a challenge that the land itself sets before you. The horizon is a line drawn in shades of white and grey, marked by the low shapes of hills and the faint silhouettes of ancient trees. Some stand alone, their branches bare and twisted by years of wind. Others gather in small clusters, their roots tangled together in a silent community that mirrors your own. Even these trees, sparse and patient, seem to know the language of survival, a language written in the quiet lines of their bark and the slow dance of their branches against the sky. Food here is never a certainty. Some days bring the promise of a herd, reindeer moving slowly across the plains, their breath steaming in the cold air. Other days yield only empty tracks, prints that disappear beneath the next snowfall. Each meal is a quiet triumph, a moment of shared relief. Each day without food is a test of endurance, a reminder that the land offers no guarantees. Water, too, is a challenge. It gathers in small hollows, frozen solid in the night, its surface cracked and shimmering beneath the pale light of dawn. You kneel by these pools, your hands trembling as you break the ice with careful, practiced movements. The water beneath is cold and clear, its taste sharp and clean. Each sip is a small gift, a reminder that even in the coldest places, life can be found. Fire is both a necessity and a precious commodity. The wood you gather is dry and brittle, collected from the edges of the tree line or scavenged from the skeletons of long-dead trees. It burns quickly, the flames bright and eager but always threatening to fade. The warmth it brings is a comfort, a small flickering shield against the darkness that comes early and lingers late. You watch the flames dance, their movements both familiar and mesmerizing. They remind you that even in the deepest cold, a spark of light can hold back the night. The nights on the edge of the glacier are long and filled with a deep, resonant hush. The darkness settles around you like a heavy blanket, wrapping the world in quiet shadows. Overhead, the sky stretches into infinity, a tapestry of stars that glimmer like small, distant fires. Each one a tiny promise that beyond this world of ice and wind, there is a greater world waiting. You pull your furs tighter, the rough hides stiff with frost, and listen to the slow breath of the wind as it drifts through the grasses and across the stones. Sometimes you hear the distant cry of a wolf, a sound that rises and falls in the night like a question. Other times, you hear only the beat of your own heart, steady and constant, a quiet rhythm that reminds you that you are still here, still living, still enduring. Each morning, you rise from your bed of furs with the slow deliberation of one who knows the weight of survival. Your muscles stiff from the cold, your hands numb, your breath a pale cloud that hangs in the air. Yet still you rise. Still you gather your tools, check your clothing, and prepare to walk the edge of the glacier once more. Each step is a small defiance against the cold, a promise that you will meet the day on your own terms. And so life unfolds here, on the edge of the world. Each movement slow and measured, each decision made with care. The cold wind bites at your skin, but still you walk. The darkness waits, but still you light the fire. The land is harsh and unyielding, but still you find the strength to endure. This is the rhythm of survival, a quiet dance between the land and the heart, a balance of patience and resilience. It is a life defined not by comfort, but by the small triumphs that make each day a victory, a sip of water, a warm fire, a single meal. And now, as the wind's song settles into the hush of night, let us turn our gaze to the path of a lone traveler, a solitary figure whose quiet journey speaks of both solitude and hope. Let us walk beside him, one silent step at a time. As the hush of the glacial wind settles around us, let us drift deeper into the quiet journey of the lone traveler, a solitary figure making his way across the vast, frozen expanse. Imagine him now, a small shape on the horizon, each step deliberate, each breath a soft mist that disappears into the pale light of dawn. This is a world that demands patience, a place where even the smallest movement is a negotiation between hope and the vastness of the land. His path stretches far beyond the line of the horizon, weaving between the hills and valleys carved by ice and time. Each step is measured, guided by the careful wisdom of one who has learned the rhythm of the earth. His clothing tells the story of many journeys. A patchwork of hides, stitched with sinew and care, hugs his body, a shield against the relentless cold. Every stitch speaks of quiet moments spent around the fire, the slow dance of needle and thread in hands that know the language of survival. His boots, worn and patched, bear the marks of rocks and frozen streams, reminders of paths already taken and paths still waiting to be crossed. Around his neck, a small pouch hangs, a simple container for precious things. Perhaps a piece of flint, a few dried berries, a scrap of hide infused with the scent of home. Each item chosen with care, each one a thread in the tapestry of his journey. His spear, its shaft smoothed by countless hands, rests against his shoulder. Its flint point glints faintly in the weak light, a quiet promise of protection and purpose. The land itself is both vast and intimate, its shapes carved by glaciers that have come and gone. Hills rise and fall like the slow breath of the earth, their slopes marked by the shadows of ancient trees and the silent paths of animals unseen. The wind weaves through the grasses and over the stones, carrying with it the scents of ice and hidden fires, of snow-dusted herbs and the lingering memory of old hunts. As he walks, his eyes scan the horizon, a dance between vigilance and wonder. Every movement in the distance catches his attention. The soft bend of a branch under snow, the sudden flight of a bird startled from its perch, the faint shimmer of a distant herd moving in slow procession, each sign a message, each clue a puzzle that he must piece together in the quiet of his mind. Food is never a certainty, yet every discovery is a quiet triumph. A small cluster of berries, half frozen but still bright against the snow, the delicate trace of an animal's passage, a trail of footprints that tells a story of movement and need. Sometimes, a hidden cache of roots beneath the brittle grass, their taste earthy and bitter but life-giving nonetheless. Each find a gift from the land, each one a reminder that even in the harshest of places, nature offers its quiet generosity. Water, too, is a precious companion. It gathers in the hollows of rocks and in small streams that cut through the frozen earth. The traveler kneels by a narrow trickle of meltwater, his breath misting above its surface. He breaks the ice with careful hands, his fingers red and raw from the cold. The water is shockingly cold, its taste pure and sharp, each sip a quiet promise that life persists, even at the edge of the glacier. As the sun climbs its slow path across the sky, the traveler continues. His steps are steady, his movements deliberate, a rhythm of survival that carries him through the hours. The day unfolds in gentle patterns, the search for food, the scanning of the horizon, the gathering of small treasures, a feather, a smooth stone, a piece of wood that might one day be a tool. Each moment an act of patience, each task a small thread in the tapestry of his journey. When the shadows grow long and the cold deepens, he seeks a place of shelter, a hollow between boulders, a small overhang where the wind cannot reach. There he builds a small fire, its glow a fragile circle of light against the gathering darkness. He arranges his furs and sits close to the flames, his hands open to their warmth. The fire crackles, its soft music blending with the night's hush. He eats sparingly, a piece of dried meat chewed slowly, its taste a memory of hunts past and shared meals. The food is simple, but in its simplicity lies comfort, a reminder that even in solitude, he carries the strength of his people with him. The warmth of the fire soothes his bones, its dance of light weaving quiet stories on the walls of his small shelter. Around him the night deepens. The wind sighs through the grasses, a low, patient song that drifts through the darkness. The stars emerge one by one, their cold light painting the sky in delicate patterns. Each star a small beacon of hope, each one a silent reminder that beyond this small fire, a vast and ancient world waits. He watches the sky, his eyes reflecting the light of distant suns. In that quiet space between waking and dreaming, he remembers the voices of those who walked with him before. The laughter by the fire, the low songs shared beneath the stars, the quiet rhythm of shared work, and the comfort of companionship. Though he is alone now, he carries their stories with him, woven into the fabric of his journey. Sleep comes slowly, a gentle drift into dreams shaped by memory and hope. In his dreams, he sees the paths yet to be walked, the fires yet to be kindled, the faces of those who wait beyond the horizon. He knows that his journey is part of a larger story, a tale of survival and community that stretches back into the darkness of time. This is the life of the lone traveler, a quiet, patient dance with the land, a journey shaped by the hush of the wind and the soft glow of the stars. His every step a testament to resilience, his every breath a quiet victory. Even in the vastness of the Ice Age world, his story is one of hope, a reminder that even in the coldest of places, the human spirit endures. And now, as the traveler's fire fades into the night, let us turn our gaze to the places he has left behind, the campsites that once bustled with life, now silent and forgotten. Let us wander through these lost settlements and listen for the quiet echoes of the people who called them home. As the glow of the lone traveler's fire fades into the hush of the night, let us wander now through the quiet spaces he and others like him once called home. These are the lost campsites of the Ice Age, places where fires once crackled, where laughter and quiet conversations wove themselves into the fabric of the earth, only to be carried away by time and the patient breath of the wind. Imagine yourself walking across a vast open plain, the ground marked by the faintest traces of ancient lives. A circle of stones where a fire once burned, a scatter of bones left from shared meals, a single bead of shell glinting faintly in the pale light. These are the gentle echoes of communities that rose and fell with the rhythm of the seasons, their stories whispered now only by the grasses that bend in the wind. Picture the layout of a campsite, a ring of simple shelters made from hides and branches, their shapes low and unassuming, designed to shield against the cold winds that swept across the plains. Each shelter was a small haven, a place of warmth and laughter, of quiet work and shared rest. The walls bore the marks of careful hands, each stitch a testament to the patience of those who lived within. The ground beneath your feet is marked by a patchwork of ancient footprints, some large, some small, each one a silent witness to the lives that once moved through this place. A mother's steps beside the smaller prints of a child, the broad, heavy tracks of a hunter returning from the chase. These impressions, softened by time, remind us that even in the coldest of worlds, life found its own steady rhythm. Scattered across the site, small items lie half-buried, a broken bone tool, its surface smoothed by countless hands, a fragment of flint, its edge still sharp enough to cut, a bead of ivory carved with simple care and worn smooth by touch. Each object holds a story, a quiet echo of laughter, of worry, of hope. Together, they form a delicate tapestry of memory, woven from the simplest acts of daily life. Imagine the gentle sound of voices, low and steady, rising and falling in the hush of the evening. The elders sharing stories of hunts long past, the younger ones listening, their eyes reflecting the glow of the fire. These stories carried wisdom, binding the community together like sinew binding a spear. They taught the lessons of the land, of the animals that roamed the ice, of the spirits that moved through the shadows. The hearth was the heart of these campsites, a circle of stones carefully arranged, their surfaces blackened by countless fires. The smoke rose in gentle tendrils, carrying with it the scent of roasting meat, the warmth of shared meals, the comfort of community. Around this fire, songs were sung, tools were made, stories were told. Here, in this small circle of light, the darkness of the Ice Age world felt a little less vast. Yet despite the warmth and laughter that once filled these spaces, the campsites were never truly permanent. The people who lived here were wanderers by necessity, their lives shaped by the movement of herds, the turning of the seasons, the slow dance of ice and time. When the animals moved, the people moved. When the rivers shifted, they followed. Each departure left behind only small traces, a scatter of bones, a few broken tools, a patch of earth darkened by old fires. Archaeologists find these sites today, their careful hands brushing away the dirt to reveal the quiet secrets beneath. They read the ground like a story, piecing together the rhythms of lives that ended long before written words. The charred remains of hearths, the lines of stones that marked the edges of shelters, the fragments of tools and ornaments, all whisper of the people who once called these places home. Yet some mysteries linger. Why did a particular site remain while another was abandoned? Was it the shifting of the rivers, the movement of the herds, or something deeper? A story now lost to time. The campsites that dot the plains are like pages torn from a book, each one offering a fragment of a larger story that we may never fully understand. Imagine now standing in the middle of one of these ancient sites. The wind moves through the grass, carrying the faintest echo of laughter. The quiet rhythm of footsteps long vanished. The ground beneath you holds the memory of warmth and struggle, of voices raised in song and the soft sigh of sleep. In this place, the past feels close, a breath on your skin, a hush in your ear. In the hush of the evening, the ghosts of these campsites remind us that every life leaves a mark, no matter how small. Each stone, each fragment of bone, each charred piece of wood is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a quiet defiance against the cold indifference of the Ice Age world. So as you walk among these lost settlements, let your mind wander gently across the stories they hold. Feel the weight of the ages in the curve of a flint tool, in the smooth surface of a well-worn bead. Listen to the hush of the wind as it weaves through the grass, carrying with it the echoes of laughter, of struggle, of hope. In these vanished campsites, the quiet strength of humanity lingers, a reminder that even in the coldest of times, we found ways to build warmth, to share stories, to create homes in the midst of the vast unknown. And now, as the wind's sigh settles into the hush of the night, let us turn our gaze to those who held these communities together, the cave lords, whose quiet leadership and enduring strength made life possible on the edge of the ice. Let us step into their world, where small groups huddled against the cold and found comfort in one another's presence. As the hush of the lost campsites settles into the quiet of the night, let us now wander toward the edges of the plains, where the land meets the ancient rocks. Here, in the shadows of limestone cliffs and hidden caverns, small groups found shelter against the wind and the cold, carving out a fragile existence on the edge of the glacier. These were the cave lords, the quiet leaders who held their people together, guiding them through the long nights and the endless days of ice. Imagine a cave mouth, half hidden behind a tangle of brush and fallen stone. The air here is cooler, heavy with the scent of damp earth and ancient stone. Inside, the walls rise in rough, pale curves, their surfaces marked by time and the slow, patient breath of water dripping from unseen crevices. These caves were both refuge and home, their darkened corners holding stories older than memory. Step inside and let your eyes adjust to the shifting light of a small fire, a flickering glow that dances across the walls, casting shadows that move like silent spirits. Around the fire, a small group gathers. Elders whose faces bear the lines of many winters, hunters whose eyes carry the distant gaze of those who walk the land, women tending to quiet tasks, mending furs, grinding dried plants, shaping small tools from bone and antler. In this circle of light, the leader sits, a figure neither marked by crown nor robe, but by the calm authority that comes from understanding the needs of the group. His voice is low, steady, carrying the weight of experience. He speaks of the movements of the herds, of the changing patterns of the rivers, of the stories carried by the wind. His words are measured, each one a thread that binds the group together. Imagine the rhythm of his speech, a gentle cadence that soothes and reassures, a sound that weaves itself into the hush of the cave. The others listen, their bodies relaxed but attentive. The children lean close, their eyes wide with the quiet hunger for knowledge. The elders nod slowly, their faces reflecting both memory and hope. Around the cave, small details catch your eye. A bundle of dried herbs, hanging from a low ceiling, their scent sharp and comforting. A pile of furs stacked neatly in a corner, their warmth a promise against the cold. A simple necklace made from small bones and shells, its string worn smooth by countless fingers. Each item speaks of care, of intention, a reminder that even in the harshest of times, humanity finds ways to create meaning. The cave walls themselves bear witness to lives lived in this quiet space. Faint lines scratched into the stone, a shape that might be an animal, a figure that could be a hunter, a cluster of dots that hint at some long-forgotten ritual. The charcoal marks are old, their edges softened by time, but they speak of the human need to leave a mark, to say, "I was here, and this was my world." Food is shared sparingly but with ceremony. A piece of dried meat passed hand to hand, a handful of berries gathered from the frozen plains, their color bright against the shadows. Each bite a small celebration of survival, each meal a bond that ties the group together. The children watch closely, learning the quiet rituals that sustain not just the body, but the spirit of the community. Sometimes a quiet song drifts through the cave, a low melodic hum that rises and falls like the wind outside. The voice may belong to the leader, or to an elder, or to a mother soothing a child to sleep. Its notes fill the space with warmth, a reminder that even in the coldest of times, music finds a way to echo. Outside, the wind sighs against the rocks, its voice a constant presence. The darkness presses in, but the fire's glow holds it at bay. In this small circle of warmth, the people find strength in one another, a strength born of trust, of shared labor, of stories that bind them to the land and to each other. The leader's gaze drifts across the group. He sees the faces turned toward him, each one carrying the hopes and worries of survival. He knows that the decisions he makes, the choice of when to move, where to hunt, how to prepare for the coming cold, carry the weight of many lives. Yet in this moment, his face is calm, his voice steady, his presence a quiet anchor in the shifting winds of the Ice Age world. Imagine him now, his silhouette framed by the glow of the fire, his words weaving a story of resilience that lingers long after the echoes of his voice fade. He speaks not just of the dangers that lie beyond the cave's mouth, but of the strength that comes from unity, from the shared understanding that even in the coldest nights the warmth of community endures. The cave lords were not kings in the way we might imagine. They wore no crowns of gold, wielded no swords of iron. Their power lay in their patience, their knowledge, their quiet confidence. They led by listening as much as by speaking, by knowing the stories of their people and the language of the land. They were guides, guardians, and teachers all at once. In the hush of the cave, as the embers glow softly and the wind drifts in gentle sighs, the cave lord's presence is a comfort, a reminder that in a world of uncertainty, the bonds we share can hold us steady. His voice, low and even, carries the wisdom of those who walked the land before him, and the promise that even when the cold bites hardest, the human heart can find ways to endure. So as you sit here, among the shadows and the quiet warmth, let your mind drift to those who came before, to the small groups that gathered in the darkness, to the leaders who held them together with stories, with laughter, with the soft strength of understanding. Let their quiet wisdom guide you into sleep, carrying with it the soft promise that even in the deepest cold, the warmth of community is never far away. And now, as the last embers fade and the cave walls grow still, let us ease our minds into the hush of sleep. Let the echoes of their voices drift into the night, a gentle promise that history's quiet strength can carry us all the way to tomorrow. And so, dear listener, we bring our journey through the icy edge of the last ice age to a gentle close. As you rest now in the quiet comfort of your own space, let the echoes of these ancient stories settle softly around you, like snowflakes drifting on a still night. We have walked together across the vast frozen plains, where each step was a quiet negotiation with the cold wind and the unyielding earth. We have felt the bite of the glacial air on our faces, the dull ache of frozen toes in the dim light of dawn. We have seen the horizon stretch out in a silver haze of ice and sky, a place both beautiful and challenging. We have followed the path of the lone traveler, a solitary figure moving steadily across the landscape, each step a quiet act of survival. We have felt his breath mist the cold air, seen his hands gather the small gifts of the land, roots, berries, a single flake of flint. In his patient steps we found the rhythm of a life shaped by the hush of the wind and the soft glow of the stars. We have wandered among the lost campsites, silent places where fires once burned, where voices rose and fell in quiet conversation, where the simple marks of stone and bone told stories older than memory. We felt the weight of small footprints pressed into the earth, the smooth curve of a worn tool, the echo of laughter now carried only by the grasses that bend in the wind. We have gathered in the caves, where the cave lords watched over their small communities with gentle strength and steady wisdom. We have seen the firelight dance across the walls, illuminating the lines of ancient drawings and the quiet details of daily life. Bundles of herbs, small beads, the soft rhythm of song. In the hush of those spaces, we found a reminder that even in the coldest times, warmth can be found in the simple closeness of people who share the same struggle. Let these stories of endurance and resilience settle into the quiet spaces of your own heart. Let the echoes of their lives, so different yet so familiar, gently remind you that the human spirit has always found ways to endure, to adapt, and to connect. Even in a world of ice and wind, we built fires to hold back the night. We told stories to light the darkness, and we leaned on one another to face the unknown. As you lie here now, let the hush of the Ice Age night drift over you like a soft blanket. Let the slow breath of the wind become the rhythm of your own breathing. Let the pale glow of the ancient stars guide you toward a gentle sleep. In this moment, you are connected to every traveler who walked the frozen plains, every family that gathered around the hearth, every leader who spoke with quiet wisdom in the hush of the caves. May sleep find you easily tonight, carrying you on a calm tide of dreams, where the glaciers move slowly across the land, where fires glow in hidden places, where stories are whispered in the darkness. And may the strength of those who came before remind you that even in the coldest of times, warmth and community can always be found. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. Sleep well, and let the echoes of the past guide you gently into a peaceful night.